All right, well, good morning. This is one of many of our series for our welcoming of reopening schools for Travis Heights Elementary. If I can have everyone please mute themselves just to kind of avoid disruptions in the meeting. There will be a period where we can do Q&A, but we're just going to go through and have a conversation and give you some updated information. But prior to doing that, I'd like to introduce our new PTA president, Meredith Giles. I'm going to give him just a few minutes to kind of do a real quick introduction to our parents, and then we'll begin with our parent informational Zoom for the reopening of Travis Heights Elementary.
Thank you, Michelle, and good morning, everybody. I want to say welcome back to all our returning Thunderbirds, and most importantly, welcome to any new Thunderbirds out there. We're very glad to have you guys here. You know, it's been a weird year. It's been a weird summer. Continue to be a strange year, but together we can all get through this. PTA has been working with the school quite a bit to kind of ensure that some of our traditions, as many as possible of our traditions, are still maintained. They may look very different than what you might be used to, and we're still working on a lot of details. So just, you know, keep reading those emails, keep your ear to the ground, and there are things coming. You know, we're going to be Thunderbirds. We're going to be a strong community. We're going to get through this. We're going to celebrate in any way that we can. So just keep an eye out for that stuff. Real quick, I want to say thank you to my my PTA board for all the extra meetings and stuff we've had to do this summer. You guys have done a great job, so I really appreciate that. Other real quick things, we will be having a PTA parent chat kind of thing. It's a little less formal, not as much of a presentation, just kind of a chance for parents to introduce themselves and chat. That'll be Monday morning at 8:30. And if you have any questions about that, it should have gone out in the Wednesday folder that came out early this morning. So you can also just email me with the address ptapresident@travisheightselementary.com, and I'll put that in the chat in just a minute. Also, just a quick reminder, if you haven't joined PTA yet this year, you need to. You can do that on the Travis Heights website, which I will also post in there. And then finally, I've had a lot of parents reach out and ask, how can we help? How can I help support the teachers? What can we do? Really, your best bet and the quickest way to make your support or your money particularly seen is to make a donation to the PTA. That's what we do. We are here to be kind of a conduit between the parents and the teacher and the school. So if you have if you want to really help out, just make a donation. You can also do that on the website, and I assure you it will make it to where it needs to be. So thank you guys, and look forward to hearing what Michelle has to say.
Mami, tengo que escuchar para ver cómo va a ser tu escuela.
Alrighty, so we are going to have, if I can have everyone please mute your phone, just so that the audio is not interrupted and it's just easier to follow. I would appreciate that. If not,
in the background.
Muting them, that would be going to help.
Marisabel, le voy a...
Ms. De La Torre, our AP, our assistant principal, will be translating for us. And so we just want to make sure that everyone has access to this. We're recording the meeting as well, just so if parents need to go back and get more information or review the information, they can do so. And I do want to tell our Travis Heights community, there has been changes occurring on a day-to-day basis. And so to avoid miscommunication, to avoid changes in information as quick as from minute to minute, Travis Heights has really allowed the district to communicate with you guys so that we can try to prepare and go off the plans that the district is now providing us. You know, this is the first time we're all experiencing this unprecedented event. And I think that what I will ask for is grace. What I will ask for is understanding. And that my top priority is to ensure the safety of all of our Thunderbirds, our children, our teachers, our staff, and faculty. And so we have really thought through what this is going to look like and taken one step at a time because I think to think or to possibly imagine losing a staff member or a child due to this virus on my watch, I just can't even bear the thought. And so I definitely want to reach out to each and every one of you and assure you that I am committed with my faculty and staff for however many years it is that we need to bring our students up to the level of expectations and to where they need to be. We are committed to that. And if that means that we are holding summer school, if that means that we're holding tutorials, we are going to do whatever it takes to get our Thunderbirds to reach their fullest potential. And so we are in the business of education. We understand that in public education, kids come to us with the gifts and talents that they have, and we just build and we continue to do that partnership. But it's a partnership between the community and you and the school, and working together, we will be able to accomplish this task. And I just want again to reiterate the safety of our students, our staff, our faculty, our families is our utmost focus at this point. And so that's what has allowed us to be able to open the school with the start date of September 8th. And so teachers just came back yesterday. We had professional development. It was a successful day. We went through the criteria and steps in our handbook of how we're going to possibly handle situations related to COVID. And then also, how do we create the environment of remote learning and building the community that we need to with our families and support our Thunderbirds at home and ensure that they are getting a top-notch education. And so I just want to start off with that. I know Ms. De La Torre is going to briefly capture what I've said, and just to allow that time for us to go through some key points that I have. And then we will also be meeting again on Wednesday, the 26th at 4 p.m. And that will allow another opportunity to give you another round of updated information and where we're at this point in our planning stages. And again, things are changing on a daily basis. And so we're trying to keep up with those changes to ensure that we have a safe start for all of our Thunderbirds. Thank you. Just capture it. Mm-hmm.
All right. Entonces, bienvenidos a todos. Estamos muy contentos de que están aquí para esta reunión de información. Una de las cosas que Ms. Navarro mencionó en inglés es de que como la escuela, como la organización estamos comprometidos a trabajar con las maestras o los maestros y los niños para asegurarnos de que sigan avanzando y que el COVID-19 tenga poco de un impacto negativo en su educación. También esta es la primera sesión de información para la comunidad. Tendremos otra sesión el miércoles 26 de agosto a la misma hora para comunicar una información que tengamos que sea nueva, que sea más relevante. Entonces los invitamos que también, por favor, estén con nosotros ese día. You're muted.
We're going to start with some important key information and dates. I am going to encourage everyone that if you are not on the dojo for Travis Heights, so you have the dojo for your child's teacher, which will give information on how to attach to that soon. But there's also the dojo for Travis Heights. And so we encourage you to definitely connect with us through there. We also are connecting through eFolder and Messenger. Now, eFolder is a combination of communication between PTA and myself, but that is a form of communication that we're sending out to relate. So if you have not signed up, or if you know that there's an incoming family, we're trying to capture as many as we can through registration and through our PSS, our parent support specialists, to ensure that we're connecting people. But if you know someone that is new to Travis Heights, please encourage them to connect through the eFolder. So some important key dates. August 19th through the 21st is going to be our last run for pickup for student materials. So please make sure that if you have any materials from your child from the year before. So if your child was in 2nd grade, when you come through the curbside, you'll say, my name is such and such. I'm here to pick up my child's belongings. They are in such and such grades. Now, if you have a kiddo who's in kindergarten and you have someone in 2nd grade, you don't need to come back twice. Come at whatever designated time you have and pick up both their belongings. And we'll be able to give that. Now, the belongings that may exist might be lunch boxes, they may be water bottles, they may be school supplies. We're not quite sure. It varies in every classroom. Some kids might have blankets. If you definitely want those materials, please drop by between this week, August 19th through the 21st, and pick up student materials. Information on a schedule has gone out through Dojo, and I also believe School Messenger. And we had a bit of an error, but we did. September 8th is officially our first day of remote learning. So since the new start date has been pushed back, these next coming weeks are giving us the allowable time necessary to make arrangements, to pivot, to be able to provide and get in line and order the safety precautions that we need to ensure the safety of everyone at Travis Heights. October 2nd, October 2nd, parents will then decide if they will remain remote learning, or if they do decide, if they are planning to return for a phased-in approach for face-to-face. And more information about the October 2nd face-to-face will be provided at a later date, because that's a second part of the planning that we have to ensure. And again, right now, with the way that the state, with Austin's orders read, it's 25%. So we're going to be looking at what that 25% looks like for parents that are interested in returning back to Travis Heights. Now, during a period of time, you will be surveyed. And I know, guys, y'all have been surveyed like crazy. I have too, because I have a child that attends Travis Heights. There have been survey after survey. There will be a specific survey that is going to be coming through with our teacher to gather the necessary information pertaining to you and your family, with tech needs, with just information that we need to gather for our campus in particular. So expect that if you have not completed every survey that has come, needed to plan accordingly, because I do not have 100% of families telling me how they're going to come back to campus. So until I have that information, I cannot plan on how we're going to have an open face-to-face phase-in approach that is safe for everyone. So as of right now, we know that it's 25%, and we know that there are options to, once we hit that capacity, what ways we will pivot to ensure that if you want face-to-face, that is an option for you and your family. On September 2nd through September 4th, we will be providing what we are naming or deeming an essential school supply baggie, consumable and packet distribution. Now, this is on a need, on a need basis. And what I mean by that is that if you do not have a technology device and you need a packet, the packet and the consumable will work hand in hand. And so if you need to come by and pick that up for your child, which again, your teacher will gather that information, we will organize and collect that, we will have that ready and prepared for you. Now, the essential school baggie, that is going to be comprised of crayons, pencils, glue, scissors, 2 folders, and 2 notebooks. Those are supplies that we have on campus that we're purchasing to provide any family that might need those resources. Now, again, we're going 100% remote learning. So everything is going to be through our blend module. However, there may still be paper and pencil activities that your child needs to be afforded these opportunities for materials. And so if you feel that your family needs these materials, then we will definitely have a baggie, and that information will be communicated with your teacher so that we can begin to gather and create those baggies, so that on our September 2nd through September 4th, curbside for the essential school supplies, consumables, and packets, those will be ready for you. Now, the packets are a district created packet. They are not a campus-based packet that's been created. So therefore, that's the reason why the consumable are going to work hand in hand with our packets. And then we will have a Meet the Teacher August 18th through September 4th. Now you might be thinking, wow, that's a long period of time. What's going on? Again, guys, we've listened to the concerns that you shared with us. You said we need more face-to-face. We need more small group. This virtual learning, this remote learning is just not working for our family. Well, during weeks, we're going to make it work. We're going to hold your hand. We are going to help you. These are not learning opportunities. This is how school is going to be viewed. This is how we're going to run school. And so we're going to help you. We're going to help you understand how to access Blend. We're using one platform where everything is embedded within there, so that you go to the portal, there's a Blend course, you open it up with your students' credentials, and we're going to help you step by step, okay? So Meet the Teacher, the week of the 18th, starting today, the 19th moving forward, a call from your teacher where they're going to give you or ask you information that they need to collect. It's going to be more of a one-to-one greeting of, hello, I am your teacher for this year. We're so excited that you're returning to Travis Heights, ensuring you that face-to-face, that one-to-one connection is there. We want to continue building the strong community that we have at Travis Heights. And so this is one of the opportunities that we're having our teachers invest in, so that it's not just an email welcoming you, but it's that face-to-face contact where you can also ask some questions, get out some of the necessary answers that you have pending, just because I understand everybody has a million questions. During this time, you know, we'll be having conversations as far as sharing communication platforms. This is where your teacher will explain to you how to join the class dojo. We'll be talking about inviting families to our Welcome Back Parade. And this is where it's going to take place within our community, where we're going to be visiting our families in the apartment complex. Teachers will be in their cars, and we will do a drive-through parade, and we will be our ice cream social that PTA puts on every year, but it's just going to look different. We're going to have places where PTA is positioned. They're going to be passing out the frozen pops, and you're gonna see us drive by waving, and who knows, Mr. Haas is dancing in the back of a truck. Who knows what's going to happen? But this is our opportunity just to kind of drive by and say hello and welcome everyone back. Again, safety is my top priority, the safety of our staff and our families. This, I felt, was one of the easiest ways that we can still have a face-to-face, but just be doing it safely. Teachers will share expectations of the face-to-face and remote learning, and explain very clearly what this will look like for you and your family. And then also conduct a quick survey, again, of the technology needs, of the packet, the materials that you might be needing, the essential baggies with materials that you might need for your home, your S number, all of the information that you may need. They will even help you if you need help with requesting technology. And again, technology being requested for pre-K all the way to 3rd grade for those 2nd graders that are rising 3rd graders. And so please expect that. Please do not ignore. Please, I've explained to the teachers that if they cannot get through, then to email you and to try to set up a time where it's maybe best to have communication or a window that works for you, or for you to also just listen to your voicemail so that we can make communication and reach out to you. Now, September 2nd and September 3rd is going to be our remote meet the teacher. Kind of like what we're doing right now. It's going to be a Zoom where teachers will have a specific time. So for example, on Wednesday, September 2nd, pre-K 3 from 9:30 to 10:30, the teacher will have an open Zoom where parents can come in and meet the teacher. And yes, even though we're doing a one-to-one, it's also an opportunity to see who's in your class and just to kind of just have a real quick kind of intro into the teacher. The teacher will also have some information that she'll go through once again, kind of like a little presentation, and then just kind of having families just kind of see and maybe give an overview of what it's going to look like for the year. And just, again, invite everyone to our Friday, September 4th parade and what it's going to look like in the community of Travis Heights. And we will be sharing more information through Dojo, through Messenger, and through the e-folder with our route with specific times, because I know it's going to be a little warm out there. And where PTA will be positioned so that you can get your ice cream and enjoy us and cheer us on as we drive by. All right, Ms. De La Torre.
Okay. Hay dos maneras, dos modos de comunicación. Bueno, tenemos varios modos de comunicación en Travis Heights. Los dos que se usan más frecuentemente es Dojo. Entonces, asegurarnos de que estemos conectados a Dojo. Va a haber una transición porque estamos de las clases del año pasado a las clases de este año. Entonces, va a haber un poco de transición, pero si pueden bajar la aplicación y cuando su maestro o maestra les hable, empezando hoy, esta semana, ellos también los van a ayudar en cómo conectarse a Dojo. La segunda manera es nuestro e-folder. Un miembro de PTA puso en el chat cómo conectarse al e-folder. El e-folder es una colaboración con la escuela y PTA, la organización de padres, y juntos escribimos el e-folder y lo mandamos con información importante para las familias. Algunas fechas importantes, unas fechas claves, es del 19 al 21 de agosto, o sea, hoy hasta el viernes. Estamos invitando a los padres a recoger los útiles que dejaron los niños el año pasado. Entonces, cuando lleguen a la escuela, es curbside. Entonces, perdón, me distraigo con el chat. Entonces, cuando lleguen a la escuela, alguien estará listo para ir a su coche y preguntarle en qué año estuvo su alumno este año pasado, del 2019-2020, y quién fue su maestro o maestra, para luego entrar a la escuela, recoger los útiles y llevárselos a su carro. Entonces, eso es de hoy, mañana y el jueves. Otra fecha importante es el 8 de septiembre. El 8 de septiembre es nuestro primer día de aprendizaje a distancia. Entonces, es el primer día de escuela para los niños. Del 8 de septiembre al 2 de octubre, los padres tienen la oportunidad de decidir si van a regresar cara a cara después del 2 de octubre, cuando se termine las 4 semanas del aprendizaje a distancia. En esas 4 semanas se decide para después del 2 de octubre si van a regresar cara a cara a la escuela o si van a seguir con el aprendizaje a distancia. Ahora, cuando regresemos y tomemos esa decisión, es importante saber que no será el 5 de octubre, todos regresamos a la escuela, será en fases. No sabemos cómo se verán las fases, solamente sabemos que será en fases. Del 2 de septiembre al 4 de septiembre, nuestros asistentes o maestros estarán distribuyendo suministros escolares, entonces útiles que sean esenciales para el aprendizaje de estas 4 semanas. Y lo que estamos categorizando como esencial son los crayones, los lápices, pegamento, tijeras, dos carpetas, y 2 cuadernos. Ahora, las maestras, esta semana, empezando quizás a lo mejor ayer, pero de seguro hoy en adelante, las maestras están contactando a nuestras familias. Cuando la escuela llame, ustedes sabrán quién es su maestra este año escolar. También las maestras les darán información importante, invitándolos a Meet the Teacher, invitando a conocer a la maestra, invitándolos al parade, que es cuando vamos a hacer una caravana a través de las casas, de los complejos departamentos, para darle la bienvenida al año escolar a los alumnos. También harán una serie de preguntas para colectar información. Sé que ha habido muchas encuestas a través del distrito, pero esta encuesta es Travis Heights para adquirir información que necesitamos para poder planear el resto de las semanas adecuadamente. Regresando a los suministros, una de las preguntas que maestra cuando llamen necesitan útiles esenciales o si necesitan acceso a tecnología, si necesitan acceso a internet. También preguntarán si necesitan consumibles. Los consumibles son paquetes de trabajo que son proporcionados por el distrito. Necesitamos saber la cantidad de paquetes que se necesitan para complementarlos con un consumible que la escuela ha comprado para que los niños no vayan 4 semanas sin acceso a tecnología o sin tener acceso a su maestro trabajando con algo. La semana de 18 de septiembre 18 de agosto a septiembre, al 4 de septiembre, las maestras estarán en comunicación con ustedes. Una de las que mencioné es que están invitando al evento de conocer a su maestro. En este momento, las maestras también les darán la información de cómo, a qué hora, qué día, porque toda la semana para poder hacer contacto y hacer las encuestas y tener ese tiempo de uno a uno, ¿verdad? La maestra con la familia, la maestra con una familia. Pero también tenemos el evento que era nuestro Ice Cream Social, donde los niños, las familias vienen a la escuela y van al salón de la maestra, del maestro, se comen su nieve y conviven uno con el otro. Queremos hacerlo mejor para simular lo mismo. Entonces, por ejemplo, el 2 de septiembre, miércoles 2 de septiembre, kinder, su horario de Meet the Teacher sería de 11:30 a 12:30. Ahí es una oportunidad muy similar de cuando íbamos a Travis Heights a conocer a la maestra en el Ice Cream Social. Es un tiempo para convivir, tener la oportunidad de conocer quién más está en tu salón, quién más conectar con los demás padres, pero también la oportunidad de la maestra de darles información específicamente a la maestra. I think that's as far as we got, Ms. Navarro.
So moving along, technology. So for pre-K through 2nd grade, and this is where I want to make sure everybody understands, you cannot just go to Crockett High School and let's say today and expect that Travis Heights stock for technology will be provided to you. There are specific dates that you have to go for our campus. Because remember, the district is distributing technology across the band to all campuses. Now, one of the reasons why we chose to go with Crockett was for the safety, again, and security of our families and for our staff. Now, for these pickup for iPads, those days are on August the 20th from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. August 21st, 7:30 to 1:30 p.m., and August 24th from 7:30 to 1:30 p.m. Now, my understanding is that all primary grades, the younger grades from pre-K all the way to second grade, will be in fact getting iPads. That is what has been designated as the device for our students that are in the primary grades. Now, I am encouraging that if you go to the parent portal, if you go to, I believe it is technology distribution, there is a survey that you're going to need to fill out. This has 3 important questions on it. If you are not able to access that, your teacher, when they call you, will be asking you to actually complete this survey if you need assistance, or they will actually complete it for you if you're having difficulties or you don't have access to complete the survey. Now, if my understanding is that if you do arrive to Crockett and you have not completed this survey, my understanding is that they probably more than likely will complete it right then and there with you. So to avoid the obstacle of having to wait longer than you need to, please make sure that you have taken the steps necessary. So when you go to technology distribution, you have your device. Again, those dates are, and this is starting tomorrow, August 20th from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., August 21st from 7:30 to 1:30 p.m., August 24th from 7:30 to 1:30 p.m. And that is for pre-K through second grade. Now, for third grade through 12th grade, now these are for our intermediate students. Anyone who is new to AISD, who is in the grades 3rd, 4th, or 5th, you'll, again, go to the tile for tech distribution. Now, this process appears to be a little different. Now, Mr. Haas, please jump in if I've been misinformed. But this process is you're going to go through, you're going to fill out the tech request, and then there will either be a phone call or an email followed up to call you to let you know when you can either come by and pick it up, or if you need it to be delivered to you via a school bus, from my understanding.
Yes, that's my understanding, though. We haven't seen that they've sent out emails yet, but my understanding is that they will contact you if you fill out that form and let you know that the contestant is ready for pickup. Delivery is yet to be determined how they're going to schedule that, but you do have the ability in that form to identify that you need delivery, and then they'll work with you from there.
And this seemed to be the quickest way that we could get technology in your hands, as opposed to having it delivered to the campus and we redistribute it. So this is the reason why it's important that, you know, you're able to communicate if you need a device. Now, what they're offering is a device and also a hotspot if it's necessary for you. I am encouraging that if you have multiple children in the household, that you each get them their own device. It's going to be imperative that every child in your household has their own device, because of the approach of how we're going to be running our instructional schedule throughout the day. So again, if you have any questions, there is I believe in the e-folder, more information that we put in there. And also, I believe Miss Hassim has been sending out information through Dojo, which is our parent support specialist, with the information that I've just mentioned as well.
Ok, ahora vamos a hablar sobre tecnología. Para nuestros alumnos que están en pre-kinder a segundo grado, lo que tenemos entendido es que los alumnos estarán recibiendo un iPad. El iPad está designado para alumnos de pre-kinder a segundo grado. Hay locales de distribución. Para nosotros, nuestro local es la Prepa Crockett. Entonces, el proceso para pedir un iPad es en la nube del padre. Uno mete su información. Hay una sección donde se puede pedir el iPad y se puede pedir un hotspot. Un hotspot lo que es básicamente acceso a Internet. Hay diferentes horarios, diferentes días y diferentes horarios al que pueden ir los padres a recoger su iPad en Crockett. Los días son el 20 de agosto de 2 de la tarde a 7 de la tarde de la noche, el 21 de agosto de 7:30 a 1:30, el 24 de agosto de 7:30 a 1:30. Es recomendado que llenen la encuesta para poder ir a recoger el iPad antes para que no tengan que hacer tiempo extra llenándolo ahí. Pero si no necesitan ayuda en llenar esa encuesta, ahí en Crockett los pueden ayudar. Ahora, para nuestros alumnos de tercero hasta, bueno, para nosotros que es quinto, hasta el 12, hasta el grado, el proceso es un poquito diferente. Igualmente se hace el formulario, la encuesta de que necesitan acceso a para ellos es Chromebook y acceso con un hotspot, acceso al internet. Pero la información de cuándo estarán listos su Chromebook, el distrito se encargará de darles. No fecha, ni horario, ni dónde se puedan recoger. Esa información vendrá del distrito. Okay.
All right, and then just to give you one more a recap, our parade for our Travis Heights Elementary Welcome Back Parade will take place on Friday, September 4th, and it'll happen between the window of 12:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Please expect more communication through Dojo, through your teacher, through Messenger. I saw in the chat because I'm trying to stay focused and look at both. So we have School Messenger. School Messenger is ways that, for example, when you need a message I have to send out immediately or give you a heads up of something that's happened on campus, that's typically the way that we use School Messenger because it's connected to everyone's phones and that have registered on campus. So that is our number one form of sending out immediate information. Dojo is another form of communication that we send out to kind of give up-to-date information about what's kind of happening on campus live, just on the day-to-day basis, or events that are coming up. And then we have our e-folder, which is a weekly correspondence of collection of information that we send out on Wednesdays for parents to kind of have up-to-date information of events. Again, a lot of it is repeated, but it's just reminders because as a parent, as the principal of Travis Heights with a child, I need those reminders as well, okay? There's a lot going on. We're going to have a dance party, and PTA is currently organizing that. Meredith, do you want to jump in and give a little bit of information about that, just so that they kind of know what's coming along?
Sure, yeah. So we're still working on the date. We were thinking of the first Friday once school came back, but that happens to be 9/11, and we thought maybe that's not the best day to have a celebration. But sometime around there, we will be having another Zoom dance party. If you haven't participated in one of these, they're fantastically fun. You will need a couple of bits of technology for this because we actually stream the music on one service and then do the Zoom meeting on another. And we just encourage everybody to come and dress up and set up some lights, whatever you need to do to have a good time. Make your own home disco. And then as music plays, we'll kind of go through and spotlight different people dancing. And it's just a really, really great way for everybody to get to see some other friends and kids dancing and having a good time. We'll send out plenty of information about this before it happens, but it'll be sometime not long after school starts. And I really encourage you to do it because your kids will love it.
As far as calendar events, we have plugged in some dates. However, please know that as of right now, no gatherings of 10 or more are being sanctioned. So many of the events that we have, for example, Meet the Teacher, Back to School Night, our Travis Heights, Carnival, that's going to just look a little different. It doesn't mean that we're not going to have them. It just means that we're being creative on how we might be able to partake on that. And include the community so that everyone is safe and everyone is social distancing and in accordance with what the city and what the district has laid out for us. Communication, again, is going to be taking place through the e-folder, which is our Wednesday folder. Please make sure that we are definitely keeping up and adding to our Travis Heights website, emailing the teacher, and calling the office. Our office are up and running, and we are experiencing some issues with our communication, but leave a message and we will definitely get back to you. And we are excited to start a new school year, even though this is not necessarily the way that we've anticipated. We're going to do everything that we can to make sure that our students, our families, our staff, our faculty are safe, and that we are able to move forward and provide the opportunities that your students need to be successful at Travis Heights. I'm going to let Ms. De La Torre take that on, and then we're going to open it up to a Q&A and try to help everyone kind of get a better idea. I did see something in the chat about when will schedules be shared? What will a day look like? I know the district has shared some with you, but let me also share it with part of the attraction of you coming to Travis Heights is that we have the freedom to give teacher autonomy to our teachers, okay? Part of the enthusiasm of being part of the learning community at Travis Heights is our 4 pillars. We are an in-district charter school, which allocates us the opportunity to look at curriculum, to maneuver curriculum, to best meet the needs of your Thunderbird. I, working here at Travis Heights, now going on my 3rd year, part of what your request in a principal was that you wanted someone to have a collaborative effort. And that was one of the things that was highly mentioned for the teacher autonomy at Travis Heights. I could have very simply given you instructions and schedules on what schedules would look like. However, that would have gone against what you asked for as an administrator and what you wanted for your child and teachers. So yesterday, after we talked about, after we had PD, we talked to teachers. Now, we have been having these ongoing conversations, and let me tell you, our Thunderbirds are feisty, and they have thoughts because they advocate for our community. They advocate for their kids. They are the professionals in the classroom that know what's best for your child. And they told us, this is not going to work for us. We need more one-on-one. We need more small group. The asynchronous and synchronous for our students has to be a combination. However, our families work, Ms. Navarro. Our families may not be able to jump in at this given time. And so we need to make sure that we are giving every learning opportunity for all of our families. So we need to look at these schedules and go back to the drawing board. And Ms. De La Torre and I looked at each other and we said, I'm glad that you know, the district is communicating with families. But again, Travis Heights has the opportunity to kind of look and flex the schedules that they are. Please rest assured that our teachers are diligently working at looking at schedules and trying to make them so that they afford the opportunity for all of our Thunderbirds. I want you to also know that we are willing to work with you in any way that possible to make sure that you feel confident that you are helping and you are in the driver's seat. Again, guys, I've always said this is a partnership. We are welcomed into your family to create and to help support the learning time that your child is with us. However, it's a partnership. And more than ever, we will help you to help support your child. And we will help with guiding the instruction that's necessary. Therefore, as teachers communicate with you, they will share with you the information. They will give you a glimpse of what it's going to look like. As of right now, what I can tell you is that school's taking place Monday through Friday, okay? We will be doing attendance every day. We will be having synchronous and asynchronous learning. And teachers are developing language to really understand what that synchronous and asynchronous looks like. What we don't want are kids in front of the computer for 8 hours a day. That is not what the call is, and that is not what we're promoting. what we're going to promote is a healthy balance of opportunities for you and your family. Now, there are going to be expectations established, and those will be clearly communicated with you. But I also ask you as the parents to ask the questions if you do not know or you are not clear on what is expected. And again, I am asking teachers to make sure they reach out and that those are clearly communicated with you and whoever is the child care provider for your family. And as we embark on this new adventure together, teachers will share with you that we will have special areas, which is a change from the spring. And those special areas, Denora, correct me if I'm wrong, will take place Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, allowing our special area teachers Wednesday and Friday to prepare, but also to be able to lend and support any families that need one-on-one support at home. Now, Fridays, it's not a free-for-all, but Fridays will be the one day that it's all asynchronous, which means that we wanted to allocate time for families to be able to catch up, to be able to ask questions. This may afford opportunities for teachers to have PD, for them to plan, for them to be able to give you the one-on-one, not only that's going to take place throughout the week, but on that day in particular, if your child needs to have some one-on-one time or they need to have a face-to-face with you, so that clear communication is there before we go into the weekend. So I know it's a lot, Ms. De La Torre, I do apologize, but I just saw that in the chat, and I just want to kind of ease families, you know, sentiments towards what is the schedule going to look like. Just tell me what the schedule is going to look like.
Entonces, brevemente, vamos a hablar del desfile otra vez, o la caravana. El desfile va a empezar en Travis Heights a las 12:30 el viernes 4 de septiembre. Tenemos de 12:30 a 2:30 para hacer el desfile en Travis Heights y visitar los diferentes departamentos donde nuestros niños viven. Entonces, por favor, salgan fuera de su casa y estén listos para que nuestra familia de Travis Heights pase a visitar a el resto de nuestra familia de Travis Heights. También tenemos la fiesta de baile, que es organizada por PTA, la organización de padres. La fecha todavía estamos viendo qué fecha funciona mejor, pero espérenla para la primera semana o la segunda semana de escuela, o sea, el 11 de septiembre, ese viernes, o el próximo viernes. Si no han participado en las fiestas de baile que tenemos, los invitamos, son bastante divertidas, hay luces, hay música, hay baile, hay vestuarios, entonces es una muy bonita experiencia. Otra vez, para la comunicación, Ms. Navarro notó que preguntaron qué era el Messenger en una conversación en chat. El Messenger es una llamada, así como las que hace el distrito, pero de Travis Heights, que hace Travis Heights. Entonces, es cuando necesitamos mandar un mensaje a toda la comunidad de Travis Heights, de los Thunderbirds, y llama a los números que tenemos en nuestro sistema como contacto. Igual, los invitamos a conectarse al dojo. Es posible que se tengan que esperar hasta que en las nuevas clases para poder hacer eso. También los invitamos a que se conecten al e-folder. El e-folder es cada miércoles se actualiza y tiene muchas informaciones, muchas fechas o recordatorios que son importantes. Y si necesitan algo, como quiera, pueden llamar a la oficina. Todos estamos de regreso en contrato. No necesariamente estamos físicamente en el edificio, pero sí estamos checando los teléfonos, los mensajes, para ver qué es lo que necesita nuestra comunidad. Y hacemos nuestro mayor esfuerzo en regresar las llamadas durante las 24 horas. Ahorita es casi las 24 horas cuando regresamos las llamadas porque ha aumentado la comunicación o la información que necesitan nuestros padres. Hubo una pregunta en el chat sobre el horario. cómo se verá un día. Una de las cosas que nuestras maestras empezaron su contrato ayer, aunque muchas de ellas, casi todas básicamente han estado trabajando durante las vacaciones. Una de las cosas que ellas pidieron es ver el horario, ver cómo funcionaba el horario para ellos y sus alumnos. Entonces, cada maestra está trabajando en eso individualmente o con su equipo de año. Las maestras de kinder todas juntas, las maestras de pre-K todas juntas, quinto, etc. Entonces, ellas están viendo cómo mejor servir a la comunidad de sus niños. Ellas tienen en perspectiva que quieren hacer el horario lo más flexible posible para que ustedes y los niños tengan acceso a lo que necesitan. Creo que la segunda pregunta, what was the second one, Ms. Navarro? I'm sorry. You talked about the schedule, autonomy, and
Schedules, and I think that was it.
I think so too. I think it was the e-folder in the dojo.
Yeah.
Entonces, esa comunicación vendrá de las maestras cuando empiecen a llamar. Van a empezar, pues es posible que empiecen hoy, si no ayer, pero en los próximos días esperen esa llamada de la maestra de sus niños. Okay.
All right, well, I definitely want to open it up. And I want to just reassure each and every one of you that we've got this, guys. I feel more than confident in the staff, in the partnership with PTA. I know there's a lot of anxiety just surrounded around this because of just the role that you're having to play and uncertainty. But, you know, I've always been, and Ms. Delatorre will say this too, we've always been very careful with what we want to communicate because our relationship with you is so vital. And miscommunication can fracture relationships. And we want to make sure that, you know, it's been hard and that's why we let the district take the driver's seat and distribute. Because although we are under the umbrella of AISD, things are changing, and to have information that doesn't match or changes so rapidly, we've experienced that just with the e-folder that was sent out with technology. And so it's not that we have not wanted to communicate. We just want to communicate with you with information that we have that is solid and that we have a plan in place. I will tell you, there are right now things that we're doing to prepare. We are preparing the building for a safety entry plan that we will be sharing with you, and we'll give you information on what it's going to look like for anyone who is planning to come face to face. I want to go over information to inform you what that's going to look like in the event that if a child is showing symptoms of COVID, what is our protocol? I want to talk about what, you know, if you know, this is the first time we're all experiencing this, and so we are trying to plan accordingly to meet the needs of our students, our staff, special needs programs that we have on campus. And so we're really having to tweak and redefine situations that are going on. But I want to ensure you that Travis Heights has it under control, and that we are just being very strategic on making sure that information that we are disseminating to you guys is correct and accurate and does not create more of a level of anxiety or confusion. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's open it up.
I'd like to translate that.
Okay, please, thank you.
And I wish I could make eye contact with all of you so that you know, feel the sincereness in a message. Una de las decisiones que tomamos es permitir al distrito que se comunicara con nuestras familias de Travis Heights. Entonces, esa fue una decisión que tomamos conscientemente, porque nosotros, cuando nos comunicáramos con nuestros padres de familia, queríamos tener algo estable, decisiones y protocolos listos para implementar. Sabemos que es muy probable que cosas cambien, pero por lo menos tenemos una base estable para poder comunicar con nuestras familias. Entonces, tenemos planes, tenemos protocolos para ir. Esos planes estamos esperando que sean aprobados, pero hay sistemas, hay pasos que tenemos para cuando un niño o una niña presenta síntomas de COVID. Tenemos plan de cómo vamos a entrar al edificio, cómo se va a manejar la instrucción en el edificio. Pero como les explico, esos planes tienen que ser aprobados. Y esa información se repartirá. Estamos anticipando que sea para la siguiente junta. Pero les digo que es un plan que tiene que estar aprobado por el distrito. Entonces, queremos que sepan que la comunicación para nosotros, como organización de Travis Heights y como Ms. de la Torre y Ms. Navarro, es muy importante tener claras expectativas, claros protocolos, porque para nosotros la comunicación es una de las cosas más importantes. Y si no tenemos buena comunicación efectiva, para nosotros quiere decir que es posible que la relación y la confianza con nuestra comunidad se dañe. Y eso es lo último que queremos. Queremos tener una buena relación, continuar con una buena relación con ustedes, con nuestros niños, con nuestras. Entonces, por eso la decisión de
Oh no, I think she froze. Okay, well,
su comunicación primaria. Okay.
all right, you froze for a second, but then you came back to life. Okay, woo. Okay, so what I would like to do now is let's start to take questions. What I would appreciate is possibly Danny and Meredith, maybe you can monitor the chat, and as questions come in, you can read them out to group, since we're going till 10:30, and then that way everyone hear the question be asked.
Okay, so Michelle, I see one question over here already. Basically, if you already have technology, do you have to use the iPad or computer provided by the district?
I'm going to let Kent take that on because we were just having that conversation yesterday. Kent?
Hi. So district has been wanting us to use their technology. Right now, we don't know that we even have enough iPads, and they haven't launched Chromebooks yet. So I have had some parents who have purchased Chromebooks or have iPads for their students, and it's fine to use that. A Chromebook, you can go to the portal just like you would on even on a district device, and log in and be able to access Blend and all the programs we use. If you have your own Chromebook, you can also set up an account on a Chromebook, and students have an AISD email. When you go to the students portal, if you look up in the top right corner, there's a little person character. You can click on that, choose profile, and see the email address that's assigned to your child. And then when you go back in and add a person at the start of your Chromebook, you can use that email with their password to create an account for the whole machine. Nonetheless, the district recommends that using their equipment would be beneficial in that, you know, we do filter the content. They update the software that's being used and manage those machines. So I would encourage you to fill out the form, fill out what your need would be for technology, and at least you're in the queue and the district has an idea of the amount of devices that they should be providing to our campus. If you have any issues with that, though, feel free to email me, kent.hawes@AustinISD, and we can deal with particular situations.
Sorry, I had to step away. We had a little bit of a situation here at my house with something burning in the microwave, so I apologize.
Okay, I also see a question here about will teachers provide a supply list when we have our one-on-one for those that will not need the essential school supply baggie?
So what we were talking about this yesterday, and depending on if we're planning on going remote. So if you're staying remote, then I would think that the basic materials that you would need might be a couple of spirals. The teacher will give you some further information, and she can probably answer that a little clearer, because I think a lot of things are going to be put on Google Docs, on folders. A lot of the work that's going to be being turned in is through the blend. And so teachers will create either students to take pictures and to participate in blend, and to display their work and to turn in their work in those forms. However, if you are planning on coming back face to face, then I think we definitely will look at the school supply list. There is still opportunity for you to order your school supplies through a vendor that we put the information through eFolder. It's also on the website where you can order your school supplies and they can actually be delivered to your house. And then at that point in time, if you choose to come back face to face, then you just bring those materials with you. So, you know, I think that it's gonna be the teacher's call. Typically, I know that we've been having conversations because we're not going to be using community supplies. Those supplies are going to have to be for that child in particular. So I'm going to leave that up to the teacher, because it's going to depend and vary grade by grade, if that makes sense. I believe that if you are a AISD student in the grades pre-K through second grade, you are registered, you qualify for receiving a device, which is the iPad.
Okay, Michelle, there's another question here, and I'm having a little bit of a hard time understanding all of it. But how big will the class size be for pre-K 3? And
You know, that's part. We're encouraging parents to register. That we don't know yet. We do not have an idea. We know that we have kids that are returning. We do know that we are encouraging to do remote as much as we can, but we know there are instances where families are going to need face-to-face. However, we don't have solid numbers yet, and that's one of the reasons why teachers are going to start calling, because we need that confirmation if in fact you're returning, and what does that look like, so that we can better prepare. What I will tell you is that currently we are setting up classrooms, and right now, because of the unique and eclectic architecture of Travis Heights, there are some rooms that will allocate or allow up to 8 students, while others will only allow for maybe 3 students, and that's with social distancing. So, you know, we're being very creative. You also have to remember that, you know, teachers, as much as they are excited to come back, they have shown lots of concerns. And so they have reached out to ask for accommodations, and that may be that they are working remotely. So and those that they are, you know, justified in their concerns, and some of them fall into the realm of underlying health conditions. So we're still working on what does the workforce look like, and how many teachers are we actually having coming back. So those are all things that are happening behind the scenes that I can't give you answers to those right now. But what I will say is that you know, the district is going to work with me, and if, you know, we will do whatever we need to do. If you choose to go face to face, you know, it may look a little different, but we will do what we need to do so that you are provided that opportunity.
All right, Michelle, here's another question. If families do decide to return for the 25% instruction, will that be one big chunk during the week or over several days of the week?
My understanding is that, we'll look at the phase-in approach. We're still waiting on details on what exactly that looks like. It's kind of tricky because we're in phase 4 when you look at it, when you look across the city, right? We go to phase 5, then it's 100% remote no matter what. So right now, what we're trying to do is, if they come face-to-face, in accordance with the district and with TEA, it looks like it would be Monday through Friday. And it would be the school start date, the school start hours would range from 7:35 to 3:08. And we're going to be that because we were able to, because the district pushed it back until September 8th, we have to make up those minutes. And so it's no longer 7:40. The start time for school is 7:35 to 3:08. Now, mind you, there's going to be protocol for entering upon the building. And so, that information will be communicated in our next session once approval of my reopening plan is approved with the district, and we're able to communicate with you. This is how we're going to come face to face for parents that choose to do so.
All right, I'm gonna jump in real quick too, I'm obviously on Michelle's side as PTA president, but for those of you that don't know, I also work for the city of Austin, and it's really hard because things are changing so fast and we just don't know. And as I've said in letters I've sent out, I understand there's a lot of frustration and I need to plan my life. I need to figure out what's going to happen, but if we just don't know, we don't know. And I do respect Michelle and the rest of admin for kind of holding off and not just throwing out every little rumor they hear. And I mean, the site I work at for the city, I've been given 4 different reopen dates in the last 2 days. And right now, none of them are confirmed. So I don't know if my site's going to open up in 2 weeks or in a month or in 3 months. I just don't know. But I've heard all 4 of those things in the last 48 hours. So it's very tricky when there's lots of information coming your way to disseminate all that.
Yeah, if you choose to stay remote, then you can stay remote. It is a family-based decision. For my family personally, my child will not be returning to campus. She will be staying remote for the remaining part of it. And you have that option as well. And I understand, I see a parent saying, will a teacher be responsible for online teaching and in-classroom teaching? What we're going to have to do, although again, things are changing, you are going to meet your teacher, okay? However, once I get clarification on who is going to be remote, how many students am I talking about, then there may have to be a combination of teachers. Possibly if I have a team of 4 teachers, maybe 2 teachers are the remote teachers and 2 teachers are the face-to-face teachers. So we'll have to, face those challenges and obstacles once we have a clear idea of how many students we're talking about that are face-to-face versus, remote. And so as of right now, we have teachers, you're meeting who your classroom teacher is for the first 4 weeks. Can that change after that start date? Absolutely, because it depends on what the numbers look like and what staff looks like. Unfortunately, we're dealing with teachers trying to make decisions that are best for them and their family. And we're also working with families that are trying to make decisions what's best for them. So when we cross that bridge, we'll have to cross it. Do I think that's possible? I don't think so. I don't think that I can ask a teacher to do virtual and remote. It's too much in the instruction. I don't see how we could do that for 8 hours of a day for a teacher to do remote and face-to-face. I think we're going to have to divide and conquer. However, Ms. De La Torre and I will be running 2 schools. We'll be running a virtual school and a face-to-face school. And that I do know.
Hey, Michelle. So there's a person who's asking, going back to the question earlier about class size, and she is wondering if about virtual learning and the class sizes, and she's saying that they just want to make a point, they don't want larger than normal class size. For example, if it's typically 14 kids to a class with 2 teachers, and I think this person is talking about pre-K3, will the virtual class have more than that? They just want to keep the same class size and for virtual as it is for like a typical in-person class.
Well, and that I can't make a promise. And for pre-K3, there are certain requirements that would not go outside of the range. The problem is this, that I can only have 8 kids in a classroom for face-to-face, correct? In each classroom, there could be potentially 21 kids. If I have 2 teachers and one teacher has to do the face-to-face, she can only have 6 to 8 kids in that classroom, which means all of the other students have to go to remote, and they would be in that teacher. It really has to do with staffing. Now, would that mean that I would have 30-something kids in a session? Absolutely not. That's why at the beginning when I stated we're going to be looking at small groups, I know it's not manageable to have 20-something kids. I mean, right now I have 63 adults on a Zoom, okay? However, that's not how we're going to manage a classroom. And so we're going to have to really look at small groups, and that's why it's going to be a combination of synchronous and asynchronous to afford the opportunity of us making those small clusters and working with those small groups of kids, if that makes sense. But I mean, my goal is to try to make sure we're meeting the needs of the kids, and that we are really trying to hone in on supporting the students. And again, we've made preparation. If, for example, I know there's a 3rd grade classroom that is a very, very small classroom that we can only fit 3 tables in there to stay within the social distancing requirements, okay? We are already thinking that that classroom we may not be able to have that classroom. We may have to move it to a different location so that we can at least get 6 to 8 kids in there. So again, it's like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle. We have to work accordingly, and I don't want to give more teachers more kids, but the teachers also understand that that could be what we have to do to try to make this work for parents that want to send their children face to face.
Okay, thank you. We also have a couple of other questions. Creative Action is canceled for the fall, and it says they'll make a decision in October if they will open in January. And these, a couple of people are wondering about other childcare options available at the school. Can you speak to that?
So I know that with childcare options, my understanding that Creative Action was going to not come back for this year. That was the communication I received. I will go back and look at that, but the information I got was that we will not be coming back. As far as Extended Care YMCA, I have not heard anything, and I'm still going to be waiting to see what that looks like. We do have the House Cadets, but when I saw open daycare availability for the House Cadets, which is a child daycare for children from infant all the way to, I believe, 4 years of age, our name was not on a designated list. So again, I'm following up with them to find out, what pathways are we going to go in. I understand that prime time we have the opportunity to participate in prime time, but it's going to be virtual, remote. So again, I don't understand how we could possibly do or have any kind of programming if we can only have, and so I don't know exactly what the answer is. That's just the information that's been provided to me at this point, but I will follow up. I would encourage everyone to participate in PTA and sign up. And if you haven't in the past, I will tell you that PTA is what is going to help us get over this hump. I am given so much money within my budget, and PTA has really come to the rescue of ensuring the safety of our kids by, if it's buying more PPE, if it's buying shields, if it's buying necessary materials for our students and our Thunderbirds. So I highly encourage everyone, if you are not a participant in PTA, for you to sign up and to reach out to Meredith Giles, because more than ever, this community of connecting with PTA is going to be crucial and vital to our success.
Let me briefly translate some of the questions. I'm sorry, I missed a couple of the first ones because I kept getting booted out. But una de las preguntas que se vio en el chat es de la cantidad de alumnos que va a haber en una sesión virtual, que si va a estar a lo mínimo o lo máximo que es un salón regular. Y la verdad es de que eso depende de cuánto personal tenemos disponible para asistir virtualmente con aprendizaje a distancia, y personal que tenemos que puede ir a entrar al edificio y dar instrucción de cara a cara. La otra pregunta que alcancé fue de cuidado para los padres de familia que necesitan cuidados después de clase. Entonces, los programas que teníamos en la escuela no van a estar regresando. El único que puede que regrese quizás es el de what is it, how many months to how many years?
It's infant to 4 years of age.
Okay, de los que se cuidan hasta 4 años. Entonces, ese cuidado, nuestra escuela no estaba en la lista. Entonces, Mr. Navarro va a seguir buscando más información y que le resuelvan si ellos van a poder regresar a Travis Heights.
All right, I see a couple of other questions here. One, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. One is tips for finding pods of families to group together with. I don't know that AISD, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Michelle, can really recommend that. But again, I'll plug our PTA parent meeting coming up next Monday. PTA is a great way to meet other parents and make these connections, because that would be, I think, a little more of a individual thing than a school sanctioned thing. Am I correct on that, Michelle?
Yes, I mean, and that's what I was going to say. I think that's why I'm encouraging everyone to join PTA, because there are certain things that I can sanction because I'm a representative of the district, okay? However, let's just say, for example, my sister has a child in AISD, right? Her and I are partnering up, and she's going to be helping me homeschooling with my child for the time that or remote learning while we're out, because I'm running a school. And so I'm not necessarily able to sit here with my child because I'm serving my community. So my sister, while I'm doing Zoom meetings at the table, she's going to be running and kind of doing a school session, and we're making it work, right? So I think that being creative, the reason why we can't say, to go a different direction, because what if someone gets sick, right? Then I've now taken on the liability of encouraging that. So that's why the communication between PTA and I is so vital, so that you're able to have those conversations, and among our Travis Heights community, plan accordingly.
All right, we've also got a question here, or kind of a comment. Can we have, please have some hands-on material other than the district provided packets? I think, again, this is particularly for the younger kids, because as we all know, a 3-year-old, 4-year-old sitting on a Zoom screen isn't going to stay there long. So I guess just kind of looking for some other resources. Again, I think, to speak for you a little bit, Michelle, I think teachers might be able to guide you ways, and you may have to find your own thing. I don't know that school can provide anything that's not AISD sanctioned.
And teachers can probably give you some ideas. Now, there may be some things that we can provide for you, but it may be the materials that you were going to bring in, like Play-Doh, like paper plates, certain things like that the teacher would be able to guide you and say, okay, this is what we're building, this is what we're making today. But again, a lot of that is going to be based on, remember, we're doing this remotely. So as much as we want it to be face-to-face and hands-on, we're going to have to do a little bit of a shift. And I will tell you that the lessons that the district has created, even within Blend, to kind of give a head start for our teachers, look really great. They're hands-on. There's a lot of manipulating on the screen. Now, I know in the perfect world, the face-to-face is what everybody wants, right? However, in this time of being in a pandemic, this is just what we have to endure for the time being. But guys, let me reiterate, it's not always going to be like this. This is just a moment in time that we have to get through with one another, but it's not always going to be like this. We're going to be able to come back and have our Travis Heights assemblies and our Thunderbird, appreciation pumps, and we're going to be able to hug, and we're going to be able to fist bump, and we're going to be able to come back to those times and those memories that we've had. But for right now, this is just what we have to do to secure the safety of all of our families. And it's scary, but I will share with you that my child caught COVID. And so this is real for me. And I just want to make sure everybody is safe. She's doing fine. She's great. But it's one thing to speak to this and to know what it is to feel as a parent that this is now in my backyard. It's on my front doorstep. And I see my child and your children as if they were my own. And so I want to ensure that we are doing everything we can to protect them and take care of them, and that our staff is taken care of, and that people are given the correct information. And so that's why it's so dear to my heart, because one of the things that I told my staff was that if something was to ever happen to my child, I don't know what I would do. Well, guess what? It's happened. And I now know what I'm going to do. And what I'm going to do is make sure that everyone is safe. Because I love your children as if they were our own. And I will not play with fire and take anyone's family like a grain of salt. And so that's why we have been so careful with our messaging. And that's why we've been so careful with creating a plan, because plans take time. We don't just do things overnight. If you ever think about it as an adult, you never ever say, man, I wish I could have done that a lot faster. No, you say, man, I wish I had more time to do that. And COVID has not just affected my child, it's affected my whole family. My husband and I are the only ones that are still negative, but it has spread like wildfire. So this is real. And to only think about what this could possibly happen in our campus, I want to be very careful. And I want to give you correct, up-to-date information. And again, my child is fine. She's asymptomatic, but we would have never known, and we would have never tested her. Him and I both tested, and we thought, no, we're not. And the voice of reason of my 9-year-old said, I have grandparents. I want to get tested because I don't want to get anyone sick. And we said, okay. And she tested, and she was like, great. The one time I didn't want to win. So I share this story with you because we hear so many out there about COVID, but until you know somebody, it becomes really real and hits home. So that's part of why I'm so passionate about the work that I'm doing here at Travis Heights, because again, Ms. De La Torre, Mr. Hawes, all of us see your children as our children, and we want to protect them.
Michelle, thanks for sharing that. I'm so sorry to hear that your family was dealing with that. I hope everything is okay. I'm looking at quite a few comments that we have from new families, not just kindergarten and pre-K, but some new incoming second graders, incoming third graders. And I've been sitting here thinking, especially as the question about the pods, which I know, we can't facilitate, but and we've talked about this in PTA for a long time. And I know it's not easy to do, but is there any way we can figure out a way to have classroom contact information shared? Can people opt in to have a list of their classroom, their classmates and contact information shared so that people can chat with each other?
So that's a little tricky because that's all FERPA related. Just like a few years ago, we were not supposed to be posting names of students. That's the reason why I'm encouraging the face-to-face of when that we have the Zoom, so that kind of gives you the opportunity to kind of see, oh, who's in my class. Now, if a parent chooses to share in the chat their information, the parent can do that, right? But I can't, because I'm not allowed to because of FERPA. And I can get into a lot of trouble for sharing anyone's information. So it's not that I don't want you to connect. I want you to connect. But again, there's different forums that we can do that in. So that's why it's so important that when we have our teacher face-to-face Zoom, that you're able to do that and establish those relationships. But also PTA is a great avenue, because once you sign up for PTA can share the information. So do you see how it's a little tricky? And I know as parents, as you coming in, we welcome you. If I was there in person, they would tell you I'd be hugging you and saying, I'm so glad to meet your Thunderbird. Unfortunately, I know you feel lost. I'm sorry that you feel lost. What I will tell you is join the e-folder. Check out the school website. Look at I'll have the PSS send out how you can receive the dojo for Travis Heights. Or I don't know, Ms. De La Torre, I don't know if you can explain how they can connect to Travis Heights dojo. And we are in the swing of updating, and our communication team at Travis Heights is working diligently. So we will get you up to speed. You have not missed anything. So all right now, the most pertinent information is that school starts September 8th. And that next week, this week and next week, teachers are making contact with you, and then we're going to help you and guide you through this situation. Okay.
And yeah, PTA, I'm going to be reaching out in our parent chat next week and some others to try to find kind of a unofficial leader within each grade to facilitate that. I have a child going into 4th grade, and for at least 2, maybe 3 years now, we've had an email list of all the parents. It's not a school thing. It's just a bunch of parents that said, hey, we want to be able to get in touch with each other. Easier to do for us 4th, 5th, even 3rd grade, 2nd grade parents. For the pre-Ks, I might need some help. And so some of you that may be on this call can step up and be that person that kind of helps get all that together. That would be fantastic.
Any more questions?
I do want to say, I don't have a question, but I do want to say I'm trying my best to keep up with the chat, but I do see some comments on here that say that this has been very, very helpful and very informative. And I know that I don't want to speak for Ms. Navarro, but thank you. Thank you. That was our goal with this session. We're going to continue to have this session so that we keep those lines of communication open. But thank you for those messages. Those are fuel for our hearts, for sure.
You all inspire us and motivate us to be the best administrators we can be for you guys. Being here at Travis Heights is a blessing. And Ms. De La Torre, along with all of the teachers, are here, and we hear the call, and if I could open up the school tomorrow and we go back to business as usual, I would. But, you know, I appreciate all the encouraging words. I appreciate you being supportive and understanding, and just know that we are working diligently around the clock, and we have been trying to just ensure open spaces. Absolutely. And this is one of the things that I've asked teachers, that for most of our grade levels, we have some of grade levels have decided to go self-contained, which means that they will not have a partner teacher. I have not said that everybody is going self-contained, because that's not the leadership that Ms. Delathorpe or I possess or lead by. And so what we've said is that if you are going to go self-contained, which means that you just have your one group of kids, we really want to think of these as clusters, as pods, as families, so that we limit the interaction with anyone, and to try to push out as much as we can outside learning as possible. The same thing with special areas. You know, we probably, special areas is going to look a little different. Teachers may be going into the classroom. Library may look a little different, and we're still creating plans to try to provide the safety measures necessary, and communicate that, because it's one thing to create a plan, it's another to execute it. And we want to execute this and provide this with the best ability and communication behind it. So it just takes a little bit of time, but again, I appreciate all of your appreciation pumps. You know, my heart is in this, and we are going to do whatever we need to do to get us over this hump. And again, I just want you to, and this is what I keep telling myself, it's not always going to be like this. It's just like this in this moment of time.
All right, thank you, Michelle. I'm going to go ahead and I'll be the bad guy and step in. It is 10:30, so we promised we'd wrap this up at that time. There's a few other questions, and maybe some of us can look at that and respond to some people individually. And just to remind everyone, Monday morning at 8:30, a PTA parent chat, and then again next Wednesday at 4 p.m., another meeting just like this to ask questions and things of that nature of admin. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of repeat, but there might also be some new information, so I would encourage everybody to look at that. And thank you, everyone, for joining in on this, and stay safe and have a great day, and appreciation pump.
Pump, pump, pump. Oh, one last thing I do want to say real quick. PTA has so generously will be providing a t-shirt for every child this year. Every child, and that has been one of my biggest hopes and dreams, that a t-shirt will be provided. So a round of applause to our PTA, because they are making my hopes and dreams come true. In doing that, what you get's what you get. You don't throw a fit, okay? So you need to make sure you give us the right t-shirt size, because although we're giving you a t-shirt, it's going to be really hard to try to swap out and change, okay? So please give us the right, when your teacher calls, give us the right measurement so that we can put in the order, because these things don't come cheap. But we want to make sure all of our Thunderbirds have a shirt to represent the Thunder Pride that we have, the Thunderbird Pride that we have, and we are going to have some extra surprises coming at you this year. So don't be glum, chum. We're going to get through this year. We're going to get it rolling and going, and there's a lot more surprises our way. And hopefully we get over this, and then we get to have our dance parties, because that's what I'm missing. You know, our face-to-face dance parties. All right, thank you guys. Love y'all all. Take care. Tell your Thunderbirds we love them. We'll see y'all soon.